Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Conspiracy Keepers. My name is Backlash LaRue, and we're here with our hosts, Joe Monaco and Scooter McGee. Gentlemen, it's the 3rd of March. I think some things just might have hit the fan last night, according to Scooter talking to him earlier today. And same with you, Joe. For anybody that's just joining us and have gone to the website, which is, Joe, let them know what the website is.
It is conspiracykeepers.com. And we are officially being censored. Not just us, but anybody who talks about the same thing that we do. And I even got a message from the good folks on the channel that's not a website. Our website's cool. It's the carrier that we're loading it onto. Absolutely told me last night, that anything that contradicts the Center for Disease Control will be yanked. So they're basically just flat out saying right now, we're going to censor you. You can't have any contrary opinions to the Center for Disease Control, or else it's not going to go up. So that's the world we're living in right now.
Just talk about everything as what's going on in the world health-wise.
Yeah.
Versus using the real words for it. And then
right.
You had breaking news that you had last night, 10 o'clock, about how long we're going to be in this situation of health for the next year. Is that correct?
They're going to put the banana out in front of us forever. Oh, it's only going to be for 2 weeks. Well, now we're a year later. Oh, we're going to be until June, maybe September. We just don't know, but we're going to be here for a while. I think it's pretty obvious what they're doing.
And we are coming up with
it. Just can't get any more obvious.
Go ahead, Scooter. I saw your hand up.
Go ahead.
Yeah. If you want to talk about the fake left-right fight, the news swept the world yesterday evening that Texas Governor Abbott, that's it. Open it up. We're done. That should have been the press conference. No. The governor is going to say no. But, the local cities and communities and the counties, they're going to leave it up to them. Dallas, Austin, Houston, Fort Worth are 4 of the biggest liberal cesspools of Texas. No sooner does Governor Abbott make his press conference, that same group cheering on his death. But that's allowed to be on the internet. State of Colorado, the rabbit-faced freak who's in charge of Colorado's health, who's scared of a needle. You might want to Google that one, Backlash, when she went to go get her vaccine shot. She's scared of needles, but she's in charge of the Colorado health. Oh, dear God. We're still going to see a lot of masks. We're still going to see a lot of social distancing. And it's probably through 2022. 2022? Do I stutter?
Well, that's just around the corner.
Yeah, I love the fact that we're not even at March 13th yet.
I know.
But the media is already celebrating a year of Corona. We didn't go into lockdown until what date? It was Friday the 13th in March when everyone started canceling St. Patrick's Day parades. By the following Tuesday, America was in lockdown. It's the anniversary in 2 weeks, 10 days. But make sure you order your flowers now for Mom. Are you on drugs? Mom could be dead in 6 weeks, according to you. By the way, once everyone's gotten the vaccine, the kids are still going to need to mask up and socially distance in school and remote learn. You want to talk about indoctrinating an entire generation? We got an entire generation now of a bunch of little kids.
Well,
Somebody get the phone.
Here's another problem that I see. What we've got going on right now is a globalist Illuminati dream. Their dream has come true, because when Texas said, okay, we're going to lift the mask mandate and the businesses are going to reopen, they're getting opposition. They're getting opposition from people basically saying, oh, no, we keep us enslaved, keep us chained up. We don't want our freedoms back. You're being irresponsible by giving us our freedoms back. We want to be repressed. We want to continue this. And the globalists are saying that's exactly the attitude we wanted. That's what we wanted to see.
New York Governor Cuomo is solely responsible, based upon his executive orders that were signed last March, is solely responsible for the death of thousands, if not tens of thousands of elderly. The media knew, but meanwhile, they were promoting him as the replacement for Joe Biden. He was the Emmy Award. Remember, Joe, when Governor Cuomo got his Emmy? Remember?
I do.
And you remember all of the pandering from the left? All the Hollywood elite who came out and just fell over in tongues to support Governor Cuomo.
Oh, we lost you.
10.
There you go.
Yep.
They knew for 10 months. But now the media has to go. They're eating their own. Cancel culture is eating. But they're taking him out. Scandal. How out of the textbook of Charlie Wilson's War. Charlie Wilson's War. You can have a sex scandal going on here and park a battle carrier group over here and no one's going to know. The media can't report Governor Cuomo.
Scooter, you're cutting out. We're not able to see. Scooter, we lost you. We're not hearing you. You're cutting out. There's something wrong with your audio. We're not hearing about half of what you're saying.
Oh.
Backlash, are you not hearing that too?
I give up.
Mm-hmm.
This technology just works so well for everybody,
yeah,
except for me because I'm a fucking retard. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, good. Well, I can't hear any of you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep, we can.
Yeah, I don't hear anybody. Oh, this is so wonderful. Can you hear me now?
We hear you.
Yep.
Now I hear you.
Good.
Where did I break up? Let's talk about Governor Cuomo, who sent thousands, if not tens of thousands of elderly to their death by ordering COVID patients to be in nursing homes, which was absolutely ridiculous. He had a medical ship, I said ship, in the harbor. He wouldn't put a patient on it because it would have given Trump credit. The media and Hollywood are in the tank for this Me Too super freak on a dance floor, 3 sexual allegations and 2 nipple rings. Where do we start?
Well, there's a lot of places to start. First of all, what you were talking about earlier is this whole left-right thing is a big act. We know that. If we look back on this whole thing, it's really kind of ingenious what the globalists have done. I have to give them credit for this, because even though they control both sides, they control the left and the right, they've given an appearance, especially to the right, that if you're to the right, you're on the right side of things. You're more of a Christian because they've basically got the Christian right in their back pocket, thinking that, oh, we're the patriots and the left are these morons out here. What they've cleverly done is they have vilified the left, and they are villains, but they've captured the religious right, thinking that they're the patriots, and the ones that are on this side of things are the ones that are fighting for our freedoms, and nothing can be further from the truth. They have got their people out front acting like they're patriots, but they're actually one of them. If we go back to, because a lot of people think that when Trump was president, that he was fighting against the globalists. Let's remember one thing that he did. He's the one that declared the United States a national disaster for the first time in our history. And as a result, it left the door open for every governor in the state to open these illegal mandates anytime they wanted to. He was the one that did that. But let's keep in mind, it's not him. He's following orders from his higher ups. He's under the jurisdiction of the globalists, just like Joe Biden is. We've got to get people to understand they're both controlled by the same people. There is no left and right. They're both under control. It's a big act. And whichever side you pick, you are on the side of the globalists. You've got to be outside that completely is the only way to see this thing for what it is.
So that brings up a question for me then, Joe, is being that the Texas governor opened up the state, he's going against left, right, and the middle, isn't he? I mean, no?
Well, I think that he is, but I think what's going on here, because there really is no independent people out there acting apart from the globalists. They can't get away from them because they control the money, they control the political system, they control the media. Think of everything going on.
Governor Abbott is playing his part.
Yeah, he's playing his part. In other words, what he's doing now is he's opening up the state, but now the globalists are saying, okay, how are people going to react? They are hoping that they are going to get opposition to this opening up, and they got it.
And they're getting it.
They're getting it. That's right. So think of everything as all these people as lab rats, especially the public, because they want to see how people are going to react to this if they open up a state. And it's no coincidence that the state they're opening up is the one that was in a deep freeze not too long ago. These things are all related, all controlled. So yeah, that's what we have going on right now. And the people were under a test. Let's see how they react to things opening up. Are they going to be okay with it and say, wow, we got our freedoms back? Or are they going to fight it and say, oh, no, we don't want you to open up yet. It's a danger. Corona is still out. Well, I shouldn't have said that. The V is still out there. So no. Keep us closed. Keep us repressed. Keep our chains on. And that's what they're getting. That's what they're getting. Exactly what they wanted.
So are you saying this is a test to see how well people are like, oh no, wait a minute?
Yeah, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is.
Governor Abbott is being used now as a populist rally point. So the governor of the great state of Texas is speaking volumes from his constituents. Constituents don't get you elected. The lobbyists and the corporations do. Now, I pray to Christ. I hope we can say that C word still on the air. I pray to Christ that you guys at least saw clips of Donald Trump at CPAC in Florida.
I'll be honest, I have not.
A clip of him speaking.
Well, I think the only one is that it's just the beginning.
Okay, which is fair. What color tie is he wearing?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, Donald Trump is in his infamous dark suit, white shirt, red tie.
So red, white.
Every time Donald Trump as president janked, he was wearing his not so signature tie. He'd wear goofy colored ties, different colored ties, blue ties, any tie but his signature red piece. Appears at CPAC, he's wearing his red tie. And he went through the playbook of everything he needed to say to rally the party. Keep the party together, because a third party won't work. Okay. I'm going to have to recant of what I said as Dan Wild on another radio station years ago when Trump first came down the escalator. I don't know if either of you remember this, but I kind of pointed out there's something in the back of my head that says he's a shill for Hillary.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
said-
I remember that.
Okay. What evidence? Not Hillary. He's a shill for somebody.
Yeah, right. Well, if you'll remember, and you can find this on, I can say YouTube, I guess. They're okay with us me saying YouTube. Look it up on YouTube. When Donald Trump had his inauguration, they had a luncheon. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were at his luncheon. They're supposed to be mortal enemies. In their debates, he said he was going to lock her up. And they're acting like they hate each other. But if you'll notice at this inauguration, he pointed them out and he got them to a standing ovation. He wanted to say, Bill and Hillary Clinton are here. I have immense respect for these people. Let's give them a round of applause. And they stood up and they all applauded Hillary Clinton. He's telling you right there, we're on the same team and nobody's talking about it. I mean, you can find this video. It's really easy. It's only a couple minutes long. Just look up Trump inauguration, Hillary Clinton. You'll see it. He actually went up there and said, and basically blessed them. Say these are people on our side, and they got a standing ovation. So I'm still just stunned to this day how people can't see this.
So then why did he
because
not
it's
go
so
to
out
the
there.
inauguration this time?
Why did who not go to? Why did he not? Trump not go?
Yeah.
I mean, they're still playing the game. Keep in mind, he's not making the decisions. People are telling him what to do. Do this, do that. I mean, he's being controlled. So whatever they're doing is not their decision. Somebody else's. They're like those marionette puppets on a string. Okay, Trump, Donald, Big Don, we don't want you to go to the inauguration. We want Hillary Clinton at your inauguration. I want you to recognize her. He's being told what to do. He's not acting independently. I think if people can understand that, they'll see this game a lot better.
One of the other talking points out of CPAC on the weekend that just passed us of the end of February, beginning of March. Is Donald Trump a king or a kingmaker? He's neither. As Joe said, he's a puppet. We are being deceived at an absolute level of insanity. The continued herding, just as the same reference I've always used when Stork hijacked the band in Animal House and let him down an alley to nowhere, and all that energy dissipates and it slams up against itself. That's where we're at. But we're just, to flatten the curve because everybody's safe. And we just, this is the new normal, 2 masks and anal swabs. Hey, when do we get to talk about the U.S. diplomats getting anal swabbed in China? Did you guys see that story?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Bend over.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's basically what they're saying. That's basically what this is about. I just wish I could be
anal swabs, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
I think we're going to get another email from YouTube.
Yeah, no doubt. So far, right. we can probably say that, but we'll see. We'll see what they do with it.
So, Joe, is it fair to say we've been friends since 1995?
I would say that would be fair to say, yes.
Were we at this? Where were you opening day Coors Field?
I believe, if I remember back, I think I remember being there.
Weren't you guys at the live remote upstairs?
Yeah, I think we were. I think I do remember that now. Yes,
you were either on the deck at Jackson Hole or you were upstairs in the skybox.
Yeah. Yeah, that's we absolutely were. Yeah.
I want to implant a memory, but isn't that where you were?
Yep, I think it was.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, I think it was.
So first of all, arbitrarily, there's 55,135 seats in Coors Field, and dyslexia may have reversed those numbers. So I'm just so excited that we're going to see 12,500 fans in the stadium this year for opening day. 12,500 fans. On another note, we were talking about the Emmys, the Golden Globes, all these awards. Here they come. Here they come. Joe, did you happen to see the ratings for the award dinner the other night?
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Last year it was because of COVID, so they had to have the the writers' strike a half a dozen years ago or a dozen years ago. They had to have a press conference for the awards, and that got like 7 million viewers back then. They didn't have 7 million viewers this last weekend. Nobody watched the awards. So stand by for the Academy Awards. Nobody's going to watch them.
Think those are going away?
So we're going to have to double down. Oh, no, we're going to need more diversity. We're going to need more lesbian cartoons and transgendered sitcoms. We need diversity. We need. So, Joe, I got to stop because I am literally going to stroke out right now. I have a question.
Okay.
You and I argumentatively, because it was through Backlash and his company, as well as radio and us, we just kept intersecting, crossing paths, and ultimately, thanks to alcohol, we sat still and we spoke. And you and I have pussyfooted around this entire thing, and we've never talked about aliens. We do, but I never get you to give me a straight answer.
Okay.
Joe, what do you think aliens, when we talk about aliens, extraterrestrial, UFOs, that whole blanket, what do you think aliens are?
Well, let me start off by telling you what they're not.
Fair enough.
Is that fair enough? They are not life forms coming from another galaxy, coming from Alpha Centauri, or any of those other places they claim that they are. That's what they're not. What are they? I think the Bible gives us a pretty good idea what they are. They're demonic spirits. And demonic spirits, some of them are just spirits, are unseen spirits, and some of them have physical bodies, as we saw in the chapter in Genesis, when at one time a group of angels called the Watchers left their first estate, the Bible says, had relations with human women, and their children became giants. So some of them have physicality. They're not all unseen spirits. They've always been here. They've been here from the beginning. When God saw that they were doing this, he was upset. So he chained them underground. So when we started this massive tunnel undertaking basically in the 40s, we basically opened the doors to hell. And so that's what they are. That's a lie that they came from someplace else. There's other life forms and they put us here and they checking up on us. No. They're evil, fallen angels, and they are very vindictive toward mankind. There are no good ones. There's no friendly spirits or friendly demons, no friendly aliens. They have an agenda. So anyway, that's what they are.
So Scooter, my question to you, what do you believe UFOs are?
Well, UFOs are simply unidentified flying objects. Are they controlled by some intelligent design that is not of this planet? The majority of the cases would suggest no. But there are that group, whether it's a handful, a basketful, or a buttload full, that can't be explained. But then there's arguments of interdimensional travel, interdimensional beings. If we're on the first, second, and third dimension, Christ, I forget who. It was either Michio Kaku or Neil deGrasse Tyson. But the argument of a piece of paper, if we're on that one-dimensional plane, We only see one dimension around us. We don't see up or we don't see down. Do I have a cube? There's a third dimension. There's a flat and a side, and there's depth. But what's the fourth dimension? The fifth dimension. You get into string theory, because Einstein's name is popping up again. Elon Musk has got these tunnels, which Joe, and the comment of the tunneling and the demons were right back to Elon Musk and the massive tunneling. And yet, thank God, somewhere in here's the hard drive. But when Joe and I interviewed Cynthia Schneider, wife of Phil Schneider, and his videos, for all I know, Joe, they've scrubbed Phil's videos too.
Some of them are up. You can find some of them, but for the most part, yeah, they're trying to get rid of them. They're trying to scrub the internet of any truth right now. I mean, we're seeing censorship like we've never seen before. So yeah, they're attempting it.
But
so Joe,
real quick,
go ahead, Backlash.
On the last $600 stimulus, they've got 180 days to open up all the documents on UFOs. So I might have to look to see where the countdown is.
Well, and let's bring up the disclosure. Backlash, I need you to Google this because you're going to think I'm making this up. This headline is a week old. Members of Congress want to disclose the FBI's role in the disappearance of James Riddle Hoffa. The American people need to know. Yeah, it's the labor unions and the teachers unions are destroying this whole Bugatti. So let's discuss Georgia and Amazon and them wanting a union and how you can vote for that versus how we just voted in the last election. Mafia control the unions. End of discussion. I think I'm allowed to say that as a member of Irish Mafia. Oh, I did put my the Coca-Cola nonsense. So I put my white privilege card up for sale on eBay. I only got $8.50, but I did renew my Irish Mafia card. So I'm good there. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan is becoming, at this point, dangerous because, again, controlled opposition. The golden handcuffs are clearly on Joe Rogan. Yet they bring up a lot now about DMT. Have you heard about the DMT stories?
No, I have not followed that one.
Well, they're all sharing a mutual experience, whether you take DMT in LA, Amsterdam, or Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Little aliens off on the horizon, interdimensional beings, and they're all describing them the same way. So is the DMT, I don't dare take this drug. Not after getting dosed LSD at a Judas Priest concert. True story. They're seeing they're calling them interdimensional beings.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, would you also then agree if it's not aliens and we want to talk about interdimensional beings, would they fall into the same description you gave as demons?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're all part of the same group. They're all part of the same deception. Because that's the big lie they're going to have is that, these demons are gods and they seeded the human race 1 million years ago and they're coming back to check on us now and then to see how their creation is. That's all a lot of baloney. They're trying to hide God from us. They're trying to hide the Bible from us, and they're presenting us with lies like they've been doing from the beginning. Because it's all controlled by demonic. Because remember what the Bible says? Our battle is not flesh and blood. It's against principalities in high places. It's talking about demonic spirits. It's talking about interdimensional beings that are controlling this whole thing. So once again, just like I said, some of them are unseen and some of them you can see. Some of them have physicality. We saw Cynthia Schneider talk about the ones that have physicality because her husband killed some of them. So, but they're all part of the same thing. we lose him?
I didn't get any of that. Cynthia Schneider,
Oh.
and your audio went bye-bye.
Oh, did it?
It came over on this end, Joe.
Okay. Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just to recap what I was saying. Yeah. To answer your question, yeah, they're all part of the same thing.
All right.
Yep.
So, Joe,
Good.
we're now in the first year of this would be the third millennia, now 2021. Am I saying that right? No.
Well.
All right. It's the third. It's March.
Or so.
Yeah. What are the occult numbers to be aware of this month, since demons and I presume occult would fall into that same cauldron?
They do?
What occult numbers should listeners be attuned to this month?
We should always be attuned to 11. They love that one. 13 is also one of their numbers, but that one is so overdone. It almost seems like they've kind of put that one on the back burner because that's kind of an obvious one. They love 11s. They love their 11s. You want to watch for 311. You want to watch for not only 11, but you want to watch for multiples of 11. Like around the Kennedy assassination, 11/22 is when he was assassinated. 4/11 was what they claim the shots came from the depository. So you have, and the same thing with the events of 9/11. So watch for anything that has to do with 11s or multiples of 11, and be aware of that always, because that's the one they like to do the most.
Backlash, correct me if I'm wrong. 3/11 is the London bombings, correct? Or was it Madrid? I forget. Google me wrong.
We've also got the Ides of March, which would be, it's a 15, but that's.
Oh, Jesus.
Beware the Ides of March.
Yeah. Wow. It's the anniversary of the stroke is coming up. I thought when I left radio, February and March being bad luck months, I thought that was going to change, but apparently not.
London bombing was July 5th.
No.
Yeah, I think I do remember that being in July.
What was the 3/11 bombing? What was the 3/11 bombing then? Was that Madrid? Remember, Joe, the bus?
Yeah, I do. I do.
It was the Madrid train bombing.
Yeah, okay.
Madrid was 3/11, not London.
Right.
Yeah.
Yay, Google me wrong. Excellent. All right.
By the way, I want to add one thing. Be aware also of predictive programming, because watch TV shows, really popular TV shows and movies. Watch for numbers they show in those movies. Like if they have a house and you'll see some street number or house number. Back to the Future, they used a lot of that. They used a lot of 9/11 and Back to the Future. And it's really interesting in that movie War Games, which was from the 80s. They used a lot of 3/11s in that movie. So, I know it's hard for people to believe that there could be a group of people that is controlling and influencing this whole thing, but they are. They control Hollywood. They control the politicians. They control the money. They control the arts and entertainment. They have influence, and they have their grimy paws in just about everything.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, that's right.
Great movie. Gentlemen, we've only got a couple minutes.
Okay.
Oh, good. Then let's talk about Joe Biden signing executive orders possibly coming up soon that would provide reparations to the slaves. Joe, based upon your birth certificate, I think you're allowed to speak on this openly. I think I'm not allowed to even bring it up.
Well, my birth certificate from 1960 says Negro on it, which was the word that they used back then. Some of them might use another term, but they definitely didn't use black like they do now, like they did on Barack Obama's birth certificate. They used terms that they didn't even use back then on that fake thing. But yeah, that's one thing. By the way, one thing I want to mention on this predictive programming, I heard this on, I believe it was on CNN one night, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They introduced Joe Biden as the first gentleman. And I thought, who's the first gentleman? Who are they talking about? It was Joe Biden came up. So first gentleman would be somebody's second in command. Are they telling us that he's not really the president, that there's somebody ahead of him? Well, we know there's somebody ahead of him, but I mean, that wasn't a slip of the tongue.
No, Kamala Harris is running the show. She's the one. President Biden had a virtual conference with the Mexican president yesterday. Yeah, and Kamala had 9 different conference calls with other world leaders. She's running the team. It ain't Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And if anybody's running Joe Biden, it's Jill. Because every time in a press conference, Jill's got to be there to drag him back and prompt him and finish his sentences.
Well, you've got to remember one thing, and I don't think people know this. I don't think we've brought this up before. The vice president is the handler of the president, okay? And we saw, George Bush was the handler of Ronald Reagan, okay? Dick Cheney was the handler of George Bush, okay? So you have to remember the vice president is the one that has the power. They're the ones that are the manipulators of the president, and they both answer to somebody above them. But just keep in mind, the vice president is the one that has the power, not the president, as far as those two go.
Agreed. Again, the world thinks all the vice president does is go to funerals, and Joe nailed it more on the head than anybody.
Yeah, he's the handler, just kind of like the manager of the rock stars are their handlers. Elvis Presley had a handler. He wasn't the one making the decisions. Marilyn Monroe had a handler. Yeah, the colonel, right, exactly. So it's the same thing in political realms. The president has a handler, and it's the vice president. Dick Cheney was actually running the show when George Bush was the president.
Boy, guys, you've got my mind. I'm kind of glad we only do this once every couple of days. It takes me a couple of days to decompress.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to have to go in and actually watch the news this evening. I've kind of sworn all of that off.
Yeah.
Last probably 3 months, just because I just got tired of it. The only thing that I'm going to tell you, it's just not, the news just isn't as much fun anymore, because it's not, look what he did today, or look what happened here,
Yeah, right.
So it's
I know.
kind of secretive. But gentlemen, we've got 1 minute to go, less than a minute. So Joe, give everybody the websites again that they can go to.
Yeah, you can go to conspiracykeepers.com. You can go to theconspiracyzone.net, because I have them both linked up for the same thing. And one thing we want you to do is go to conspiracykeepers.com. That's where we have all our videos from here, and we have them all loaded onto that. So that's a good place to go.
Wonderful. Gentlemen, it was great to see you again. Once again, Joe Monaco and Scooter McGee, and I'm Backlash, the faceless voice, just in case all this stuff is true. But we'll be back again soon with another show on the Conspiracy Keepers. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right, guys.